Hey cuties, I'm Lanikia and you're watching What Happened on the Soaps. This is the Young and the Restless edition. All right, guys, let's get right on into it. Today is Tuesday, July the 5th, 2022. All right, let's start. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to give this a 7. It was okay. It was okay. Let me just move some people out the way. So we see Nate and Elena. So they have a scene. Nate comes home. He sends Elena off. They're intimate and all that. I'm not going to hold you long on this. He sends her off. He tells her, goodbye and, he's going to miss her and everything. And they just have a nice little couples moment. So then we see that Imani is actually meeting with Lily and Amanda, and they're talking about, their mom and how hard it is to see her. Imani just came back from seeing her mom. And then they talk about because Abby comes up and she says, "Oh my gosh, you got your opening and everything went so well." And they thank Abby, and she said she wished she had because she wanted to get a hotel across from Phyllis at one point. She said, but Phyllis was such a nightmare that she didn't do it. But Lily is interested because it makes perfect business sense. So they can host events, they can put musicians up when they come to town, they can have corporate meetings. It's a lot of things that they can do by buying a hotel. So Lily is interested, and then they even threw around the idea of maybe buying the Grand Phoenix. I don't know how all this gonna pan out, but I feel like this is a storyline that's gonna go into something else. So that's pretty much it with them. They just talk about that. So then we see that so later on, Imani is at Crimson Lights, and Nate comes in and he's getting a coffee, and she tells him, he talks to her about her mom and says, if you need anything, just let me know. And she says, well, I do need to tell you about the whole thing with Elena and how we don't it's going to be harder to get her out of her Newman contract than we thought. And he said, oh man, I promised these 50 pods, I really need to get them. And she said, well, we're just going to work really closely. And I said, oh my gosh, we're just going to work really closely to get try to get her out of this contract and everything. And I'm going to work really close with you so that we can try to get some of these pods that you promised out. She said, let's set up a meeting with Sally. And he says, okay. So Nate goes to order his coffee, right? And she said, let me call her right now. So he goes to order his coffee. Imani sets up a reservation for two tomorrow night because she had asked him, when is Elena leaving? And he said she should be on her flight right now, boarding. And she said, oh, okay. I say, so girl, this is what I be telling y'all when they be like, oh, Imani's just so upset about our mom and she's so concerned. That girl's not, she might be upset, but still don't stop her from scheming to go after Nate. That still didn't make her not not do whatever she can. She lying to this man. I bet it's not. See, this is why Devon said talk to Amanda, but Nate went and talked to Imani or whatever. So anyways, she done set up the reservation for two. And then when Nate talks to her, he says, how did it go? She said, oh yeah, I got Sally. She's gonna meet us tomorrow night for dinner and all this. And he's like, oh, good then. Baby, Imani is setting up this because I said, why all of a sudden we see Nate and Elena being intimate? I said, I mean, he being intimate with her, but I mean, it doesn't even matter because he about to cheat on her anyway. So what does this scene have to do with anything except for y'all being like, he was just with Elena, their relationship was good, and here come Imani. Like, Nate is not this naive. Like, you can't be this naive where you don't see what this girl is doing. But let's move on. I spent more long on that than I wanted to. Money just gets on my nerves. So then we see Amanda and Devon talking about, he had met earlier with Chance and they went for a run and everything. It was like, honestly, today was a filler episode. They were just filling this episode up with a bunch of, I'm not gonna call them boring. I'm not gonna call these people boring, but they were just filling the episode up with a bunch of people. So Chance and Devon meet. They go running and stuff. He tells Devon he's in a good place. Devon says that's great, and that's all it is to it, y'all. So then we see Devon and Amanda come. Now I do like this scene, even though I'm sorry, there's no chemistry between Devon and Amanda, but I do like this scene. that he tells her, lean on me. He said, money can be tough all she wants to if she don't want to show that she's hurting and everything, but you got somebody you can lean on. So you don't be tough. You got me. I'm here for you, and I want to be here for you and everything. And so that is, it was a nice scene. He was just telling her, lean on me, because she's very upset about her mom and everything, and she's trying to hide it. But he says, you don't have to hide that with me. I'm your husband. I'm supposed to be there for you, and that. All right, let's move right along, because it was a cute scene, but that was it with them. So then we see Chance takes Abby out Chance takes Abby out to the park. He goes to her job, and he says, he's been working so much overtime, he had the day off, he wanted to spend some time with Abby. And she's like, oh, okay. And so they go to that park that everybody been going to all summer long. And he got her a picnic and everything. And they just talk about how he's in such a good place, and he says he knows that she's been missing him, but he's been trying to close these cases for Ray, and he told Devon he had closed about 80% of Ray's cases. And so she says, I know this is important for you, and it's noble work that you're doing and everything. Anyways, he gets a text or a phone call or something. No, he get a text, and it has to do with one of Ray's cases, but he's like, no, I'm gonna spend the day with you. And she tells him to go or whatever. She appreciates the time he put in, and that their life is, going smoothly now, but go, he needs to be the one to close it. But then when he leaves, she acted like she didn't want him to go, or I don't know. Let's move on. It wasn't much today. So then we see who Victoria called. Child, Victoria is back in Genoa City. So she's back in Genoa City, right? And she calls, Billy has been calling her. So she calls him back, and she tells him that she needs to talk to her family first, but she wants him to know that she's back, and she's back for good. And he says, is it Ashley? And she says, no, Ashley is gone. Now Lily go and meet with Billy, right? And she tell him she got something to tell him, right? He said, hold on, pause that thought or whatever. Okay. So what you got to say is more important than she got to say, but okay. He said, pause that thought. I have something to tell you about Victoria. She's back. She's done with Ashlyn. And he just is so light now. He said, oh, I didn't know how heavily this was weighing on me. I said, sir, you're talking to your wife. You're talking to your wife about Victoria. I don't care that y'all have kids together. Look at your behavior. You was doing all these depressed podcasts, and just is so angry and all that stuff. Victoria comes back to the town, and he said Victoria's where she needs to be for good. Like she's back where she needs. I said, sir, now wait a minute. What is going on here? And Lily looking at him like, huh. Yes, Lily. Y'all say Billy and Lily are boring. They are, but honestly, I was on Billy's side, but after so many of these, at this point, I'm with Lily. What's going on? Like, you are too emotionally invested in Victoria for me. Like, his whole attitude, his mood, everything is lighter. Now he wants to do a light podcast and joke and stuff. And she's like, okay. She couldn't even tell him the news she had going on, because he is so excited to tell her about Victoria. He told her, pause that thought. This is not more important than what I have to say. So, anyways, you gonna lose. You gonna lose Lily Billy. You gonna lose her. So, anyways, so then we go to Adam and Nikki, and she's got off a Hong Kong call, and she's talking to Adam, and she's just talking about how they were going to escort Victoria to to Newman and everything, and he said, dang, I didn't even know about, like, he don't know about a lot of stuff. He didn't know that his plane was canceled until the pilot told him that Victor approved for the plane to be canceled so they could bring Victoria in and everything. And he like, well, god dang. He said, and then they're gonna ask him, can't you fly commercial? Well, couldn't Victoria fly commercial? Like, oh my gosh. And then I said, Adam, because he's asking Nikki, what's going on? Like, nobody's telling me anything. And she says, because Nikki can't say it, Adam. She's like, Adam, I don't know anything. Victoria has not talked to me since she's been gone, so I don't know anything more that's going on than you know. She said all I know is Victor stopped the investments from happening for her business, and he said, well, what else has he done to stop Victoria or whatever? He says, wasn't that the whole reason she went away in the first place? And she said, I don't know, Adam. And so Adam's looking at this like, okay, okay. So everything is about getting Victoria back. And like Sally had told Adam, and we've been telling Adam, start your own company, sir. Just start your own company and leave Victor and them alone. You will never be that one. You will never be that one. It will always be Victoria and Nick over you. Just at this point, you could have a relationship with your father, but stop trying to have it where you're over Newman Enterprise as well, because that he does not want that for you. He doesn't. So anyways, Victoria contacted Billy, and he came over or whatever, and she just wanted to thank him. He was like, I thought you were gonna be mad at me because I told Dad about your plans. And she said, no. She said, you were the only person that came to me sincerely and told me, even though I don't like your being with Ashlyn, I still respect what your decisions and do what you got to do or whatever. And she appreciated him for that. So that's why she thanked him. And so, excuse me. So he's asking her, well, what's going on with Ashlyn? And she does let him know that she's not with Ashlyn anymore, but she doesn't want to say more until she gets all the family around, because he set everybody up. And she's like, I'm sure Adam is sleeping there overnight. Anywho, sister, if you had been more involved in your bit, like you did, let's move on. So, anyways, they're gonna set it all up where she can be with um tell the family everything she did while she was in New York, and she got that 250 million back. So then we see that Ashlyn is in New York. Baby, he trying to, can I get my money back? Hollering. Ashley said, I know it was approved, but give me my 250 million back. They said, sir, you can't get that money back. You approved that transaction. It's gone. And so he like, oh, and so he gets thinking back to all the stuff Victoria said, and so now he's charting a plane, and he said, take me to Chicago. Yes, today. And I said, Lord. And so Victoria comes in and everything, and Adam tells her, Victoria, what have you done? I said, she done woke the bad Ashlyn back up again. That's all she did. She done made Ashlyn upset again. And y'all, that was the Young and the Restless. I'm sorry. On a scale of 1 to 10, what did I give it? I should have gave it a 6, but I probably gave it a 7. But it really is a 6. And that was the Young and the Restless today. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Even if you don't subscribe, that's okay. But hit that like button for me. That helps me out. And I will see you tomorrow for a new episode. Bye.